Okay, everyone, we're going to get started. Thanks everyone for joining us today. I'm Elizabeth from Citybase, and we have Lisa and Cindy from City Utilities of Springfield on the line. Hi, Lisa and Cindy.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks so much for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about how to enhance customer service for walk-in utility customers. So here's our agenda for the talk today. As far as housekeeping goes, I want to encourage all of you to please submit any questions that you have throughout the talk by using the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. And only the panelists and I can see those questions. So feel free to ask away. If we don't get to all of them on the webinar today, we'll certainly get to those via email after our talk. So we're going to kick it off with some brief introductions, and then we'll dive into the city utilities and city-based solution, as well as some of the results and benefits of that solution. And then we'll save all of your questions that you've asked throughout the talk for a Q&A session at the end of the session today. So to introduce Citybase, our technology helps people find, apply, and pay for public services and helps staff manage those interactions. Oops. We work with U.S. cities, counties, states, and utilities for hassle-free payments and digital services that customers access via web, mobile, kiosk, and point of sale. Now, Lisa and Cindy, I'll ask you to introduce yourselves, and maybe Cindy, you could get started with us.
Sure. Well, thank you and good afternoon to everyone that's joining us today. My name is Cindy Shipley, and I'm one of the managers in customer services here at the utility. I'm responsible for our lobby operations, contact center, remittance operations, and our business accounts. Our vision statement here at the utility is to deliver world-class services and exceptional value to our customers. We're focused on the customer experience, and today we plan to share with you one of the ways that we feel we are meeting the needs of our customers. So I'd like to introduce Lisa Vanderveer to you now, and she will be leading our discussion this afternoon.
Thank you, Cindy. And good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for joining us. Again, my name is Lisa Vandaveer, and for the last 14 years, I've been a supervisor in a very busy customer service department. And it's my pleasure to speak with you today.
Great, thank you. So if you could please give just a high-level overview of the city utilities and city-based solution that you guys have in place today.
Yes, we have 2 through-the-wall kiosks, and those are accessible from outside of our main lobby. And that means customers can use those kiosks any time of the day or night, so it's convenient for them. We have 3 indoor kiosks inside of our main lobby. And then we also have 1 additional kiosk at our bus transfer station. You can see the image on the screen is a photo of our outdoor kiosks.
Great, thanks. Well, now let's dive into a little bit of how you came about getting this solution in place. I know that you initially procured kiosks in 2012. What were some of the reasons that you decided to introduce that kiosk program to your customers?
Well, we wanted to improve our walk-in customer lobby experience. Prior to the payment kiosks, customers would come in to make a payment and they would wait in really long lines to make a payment because our CSRs that worked in the window in the lobby, they help customers with all sorts of concerns. And so customers who just wanted to make a payment might be waiting behind somebody that had a very complicated question, and it took some time to clear all that up with the customer. And so you just never know how long you'd have to wait. And so we wanted to introduce something that was convenient to our customers, offered more flexibility, and just a quicker way to do business with us.
Can I ask, did you have any way for your walk-in customers to pay after business hours previously? Did this kiosk solution, the 24/7 kiosk, replace anything that you had before that?
Well, really, our only option to pay after hours at that time would have been our outdoor night box. So customers could drive up and drop a payment in that night box. But there was a delay, they would put the payment in, but we wouldn't pick up those payments till 8 o'clock in the morning, and then again at 2 in the afternoon. So, if they wanted to get that payment posted right away, they might have to wait until we got around, we were able to do that. Or they'd have to wait till business hours and come in and take care of business.
And another thing with the night box is that we strongly encourage customers not to put cash in the night box. And so really their method of payment at that point was only to pay by check. And so with the payment kiosk, when we introduced those, they were able to pay, with cash, check, or credit or debit card. So that really opened up the after hours payment methods for those customers.
And you didn't accept cash in those payment boxes. That's I'm assuming a security risk, or?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, great. So I know that you've had city-based kiosk live since about early 2018. Can you share some of the benefits that you and your customers have experienced with the new technology, maybe versus the previous vendor that you had?
Yes. We had previous kiosks and they were pretty plain. With the city-based kiosks, we've been able to customize them and make them fit in with our logo colors and they fit the appearance of our lobby. And so they're very recognizable as a city utilities payment kiosk. We also are able to, the customer can interact in Spanish or in English. They can choose that option. They have 3 different ways to receive their receipt. They can get a paper receipt, or they can choose to have that receipt texted to them, or they can have that receipt emailed to them. So it's very convenient and very fast.
And I know you talked about the branding. You have kiosks in your lobbies and outside your pay station, or payment center, but you also have them at that bus station. And so I remember you were saying that was particularly important, just so that people can trust that they're making a payment directly to city utilities.
That's right. It's very easy to recognize our payment kiosks because of their appearance.
That's great. So how did you ensure a positive experience for your customers in adopting the new technology? Was there any pushback from customers? Did you hear positive reactions when you first implemented the city-based kiosks?
Well, prior to them being installed, we did a couple of different things. We talked about it a lot. We attached a flyer to their paper receipt because at that time, we were assisting all customers at the window. And so if they had a transaction, they would get a receipt, and we attached a flyer to that. And I believe we also talked about it on our website. We really just hyped it up and let the customers know that it was coming and what a great thing it was going to be. And then once the kiosks were installed, we had someone out in the lobby. One of our very outgoing CSRs would be waiting in the lobby, at least for the first week, maybe longer if we felt it was necessary. And they would assist the customer. They'd walk them through it, show them how to use it, so that the next time they came in, they were able to take care of it on their own, and really just took the scariness out of it.
Yeah, that's great. So you listed a few kind of promotional change management strategies there, from putting flyers on receipts to showcasing it on your website, and then what we at City-Based call a greeter program, having someone actually in the lobbies to help people. Did you find that was effective? How big of a lift was that for you guys to implement those methods of promotion?
I think it went very smoothly. We got very little, if any, pushback from customers. I think people at that time, they were accustomed to using ATMs. And so really, and I mean no disrespect from this, but it was a matter of just training our customers, showing them how to do it. And boy, once they picked it up, they were all about it, and those that still today, we offer assistance to customers that come into the lobby. And if they've never used the kiosk, then we're happy to come out from behind the counter and walk them through those steps. We do like for them to do their own transaction with our assistance, but because that way they understand what they need to do and can use that the next time they come in.
Well, that's a great transition to my next question. Can you talk a little bit about who your customers are, who most commonly use the kiosks, and what are some of the ways that the kiosks are supporting their payments to you guys?
Yes, most of the customers that come into our lobby are the unbanked customer. That means they don't have a checking account, they don't have a debit card, and so really their only option is to pay by cash. And so by offering the payment kiosks and having access to those 24 hours a day, they can come in and make a payment, whenever it's convenient for them. So maybe they're getting off work at midnight and they want to come by and make a small payment or make a large payment. They can pay in cash anytime they want. Prior to that, they had to wait until the lobby was open to pay in cash. And so a lot of those customers that come into our lobby are also repeat customers. They tend to come in and pay in person because they don't have any other option. And so the payment kiosks have really been a great convenience for them.
And I know that you guys don't charge any fees on top of any of the payments made at the kiosk. So, when you were saying that someone might come in and just pay a little bit at a time, that's really important that you guys have that fee-free structure that people can just pay whenever they can at their convenience. And, they're not getting dinged with extra charges every single time they pay.
Right, that's right. They can come in and pay $5 if that's all they have, or they can come in and pay their entire bill. And they can come in as many times as they want and, without any fees.
Well, you mentioned life before kiosks, you guys had lines in your lobbies and lines out the door. So can you talk a little about how, your lobbies have changed, what benefits you've realized operationally since implementing those kiosks?
Yeah, we've recognized a lot of benefits with the introduction of the payment kiosks. One of those is added security. We don't handle money at the window anymore. The money is taken into the kiosks and it's locked behind a door and then locked behind a vault. So customers don't see us handling all that money. Prior to that, we would have to empty the cash drawers out in front of customers, and I really felt like that was a security risk. Someone watching us take all that money out of the drawers. We also have improved our accuracy. Humans aren't handling the money anymore, and we very rarely have an overage. I don't think we've ever had a shortage. And usually we're able, if we're over by any amount, which is very rare, we are typically able to figure out who that money belongs to and get their account credited. Paying at the kiosk removes emotion from the interaction. The customer who typically comes into our lobby, it's because they're the cash paying customer and they tend to struggle paying their bills. And so they don't have to face, a city utilities employee. They can come in and make that payment and they're not, it removes that feeling of being judged. And it just, I really feel like it calms everybody down.
How would you say, sorry, go on.
Oh, I was going to say, and it's assisted us with balancing as well, because prior to that, our old kiosks, it would take the money in and the money would just float into a box that we had installed inside the kiosk. And so it was just a big mess whenever we try to pull it out. And with the new kiosks, or with our city-based kiosks, the money is nicely stacked inside of a cash cassette, a cash box, and it holds plenty. Our outdoor kiosks get a lot of action out there, and it holds all the money that that we need it to.
How would you say the kiosk program has impacted maybe the job satisfaction or the job experience from your customer service representatives who are staffing the lobbies still?
Well, we used to have really long lines in the lobby, not every day, but certain days of the month. And after a holiday, we would have really big payment lines. And so having the kiosks installed lets the customer come in anytime they want or when it's convenient for them. So those visits are staggered. We don't have everybody trying to come in all at one time. And so that removes frustration for the customer and for our CSRs, because that's a lot of pressure when you are handling the payment only line and you've got a line wrapped around the lobby and they're looking at you, and that can really stress you out. And so customers being able to use the kiosk anytime they want has really removed that sense of pressure from everyone. And we've also been able to utilize some of the staff that was at the counter before handling payments in other areas of our department. And it also allows the CSRs that are still in the lobby, because they don't have to worry about payments, they're able to focus on other issues that the customer might have, maybe something more complicated, and they can take the time to really dive into that and explain in great detail to the customer what's going on with their bill, or what charges are involved if you start new service. They're able to take the time to do that now.
That's great. I know you offer several services for customers who are struggling to pay their bills on time. What's your approach to supporting financially vulnerable customers?
Well, one of the things that we offer is what we call a payment arrangement. This is something for the customer who can't pay by their due date. We allow them to extend beyond their due date. Of course, we have guidelines that we have to work within, but they're able to extend the payment date. They make a commitment to pay on a certain day, a certain dollar amount, and our payment kiosks help them keep that payment arrangement, because they can come by after hours and make their payment, again, when it's convenient for them. If you're someone that works nights and you go home and you sleep all day, it might not be easy for you to get to our office before it closes, our lobby before it closes. And so that convenience of being able to come by before work, after work, no matter what time of the day or night it is, it really helps our customers keep their commitments.
And as Lisa mentioned before, it really takes the judgment aspect out of it. Some of these customers, they get paid weekly, or maybe they're bringing in their tips, a couple of times a week to pay their utility bill. And by utilizing the payment kiosk, they don't have to face someone every time they're making a payment. So that helps them keep those payment arrangements, because they can set them up when they know that they're going to have those funds available, and then just come in and pay at their own convenience.
Right.
And to set up those payment arrangements, is that what some of the CSRs are now working on, or is that something that they call up to complete? Or
they have a couple of options. If they're not past due, they can take care of that online through our website. If they're past due, they do need to call in and talk to a customer service rep. Everybody's familiar with how to do that, and so any of our CSRs are able to help customers set that up.
Great. So we have a couple of slides. I was hoping you could just walk us through how customers can make a payment on the city utilities kiosks. We'll pull those up momentarily.
All right, what you're seeing here is what our customers see when they approach the kiosk. And this is where they would determine if they want to interact in Spanish or in English. And then they touch that green box where it says touch here to start. So our customers have to accept our terms and conditions before they can move on. And this is where the customer can access their account. They have a couple of ways to do that. They can use their account number. They would manually put in their account number and their street number, and those two things in combination will bring up their account. They can use their phone number and the last 4 digits of the social security number that's on their account. And then they can also scan the barcode on their bill. And this is my personal favorite because it's very quick. You just scan your bill and everything pops up. And this is an image of what the scanner looks like. And then this is where they select how much they want to pay. They can see their account information. They can see their balance. They can see what's past due. They can decide, do they want to pay the full balance? So they can just quickly touch that box. They can pay only the past due amount if they want to. And that one is lighter because there really is no past due balance on this one. Or they can choose to pay a different amount. They can pay any amount that they want. It's really up to them. And then here they get to pick where or what method they want to pay, either by cash, can pay with their credit or debit card, and they can pay by check. And so if the customer was paying by cash, this is the screen that they would see. It tells them how much they're paying. Then it tells them how much they've inserted and the amount remaining on their account. And once they've inserted all the cash that they want to pay, they just hit complete payment. And this is another feature that I really like. They can get their receipt 3 different ways. They can get a paper receipt, but if they don't want paper, they can have their receipt emailed to them, or they can have it sent to them in a text message. And then once they're done, this screen will pop up. Now it will, after so many seconds, it will just return to that very first screen that you saw, but customers can click on I'm done, and then they're assured that everything is, the whole transaction has been completed and they're okay to walk away.
Great. And I know that that all pulls information from your source system, your CIS, right? So that should be reflected in real time versus the payment drop boxes, which, as you mentioned, it would have to be processed the next day manually. So
that's right.
Great.
Yes, that's right.
Can you talk through some of the results of your kiosk program with CityBase?
Yes, 100% of our walk-in customers now pay at the kiosk. We no longer accept payments at the customer service window. And again, that frees up our CSRs to assist customers with maybe something more complicated. The average transaction is very fast. It's about 51 seconds for a cash, card, or check payment. And 57% of our customers pay in cash at the kiosks. That's 57% of the customers that come into the lobby. 40% of our kiosk payments are made outside of our business hours. And that means that those are the customers that are using our through-the-wall kiosks, where they have access to them 24/7.
And what are some of the other benefits of the program?
Well, it's very reliable, 24/7 self-service technology. It's eliminated our very long lines in the lobby. So all of our customers are very happy about that, including our CSRs, because they don't have that pressure anymore. Customers are in control of the interaction. And so they have some sense of discretion. Again, they can come in and make a payment and nobody has to see them do it. They can also control the speed of the interaction. So they can stand there and study their account a little bit, or they can just come in, make their payment. And, you know, we joked before, they don't even have to put their cigarette out if they're paying outside. Improved lobby security. Our staff does not handle the cash. And so that has increased our accuracy. And customer service reps have more time to assist our customers with maybe more complicated situations.
Great. So one last city-based question before we open it to the audience Q&A. What would you say to other utilities who are considering city-based kiosks?
I say if you're considering it, do it. We installed the kiosks and we never looked back. And in fact, there was a short period of time between our old vendor and City Base, and customers noticed that they were not available, and they were asking, when are you going to bring back the payment kiosks? So I think once they figure out how easy it is to use it, they're going to love it. And I just want to add too that I feel like our relationship with City Base is very good. I feel like anytime there's, with anything, you're going to have some issues. You're going to have some hardware that needs to be replaced. And City Base has been on top of it every time. And we really appreciate how they've taken care of us and the kiosks.
Well, we love to hear that. Thank you. Glad we can be helpful. Okay, great. Well, we do have some questions already, and anyone else, if you guys have questions, please type those into the Q&A. And again, if we don't get to all of them on air, we're going to follow up via email to get those answers to you. One, I think this is a quick one. Do you guys charge a convenience fee?
We do not. This is a free service that we offer to our customers.
And I know that's City Base never charges customers a convenience fee on top of a cash payment. And you guys make sure that they're not charged a convenience fee for any payment, which is great. One question was about having the option to pay after business hours via phone or internet. I guess that, for cash customer, I'll let you answer.
Yeah, we do offer phone pay after hours. They can call in and pay by credit card. And also our website offers ACH payments and credit or debit card payments. The convenience of the payment kiosks are for the customers that pay in cash. The majority of our payments that come into the kiosk are in cash. And so that gives them the opportunity to come and pay anytime they want. But also customers paying by check or credit card, they can use the kiosks too.
Yeah, and you do have a significant amount of people who are paying, you not using cash on the kiosks as well. So I'd assume, what do you assume about your customers who are doing that? What do you say?
Oh, well, those might be the customers that wait till the last minute to pay their bill. Maybe they can't pay it right away because they're waiting on their paycheck or waiting on their Social Security check, and they want to come by and pay it either the day of the due date or right before the due date. So they can do that. And because it's in real time, they're able to use our kiosks and get that payment posted right away.
Great. So I think we've gotten a couple of questions about security, both I think mainly the physical security of the kiosks. How do you guys handle that, particularly at the bus terminal location?
Well, we have a service that picks up our payments from the bus turnaround once a week. They go there on Fridays, and they're the only ones that have a code to get into the vault. And so they pick that up and deliver it to us every Friday. And that's because they're outlying. They're not at our location. The ones that are here at the main office, including the outdoor kiosks, are maintained by our CSRs. We do dual control, so 2 people at a time go out, and the inside ones we take care of after hours. The outdoor ones, we will take care of those right before. It's just, I think, maybe about an hour before we close the lobby, hour and a half. We will take care of emptying those, and those open up to a room behind our information desk. So we're inside. It's all very secure. When we empty those out, we're not in plain view of customers, and so they're very secure.
Great. So someone is asking about the tender types that the kiosks take. Does it accept checks, money orders, or debit and credit cards?
It accepts ACH payments, and that means that the customer is using their check information, their routing number, and their checking account information to make that payment, and then their account is debited. We do not take money orders through the payment kiosk. They can drop those in the night drop box that's in our parking lot, but they can't pay that through the kiosk. The kiosk will also take cash and credit card and debit card payments.
And this is a related question. How would someone split the tender type to pay, a little bit in cash and a little bit on credit card?
Yeah, they can do that. They just need to do 2 separate transactions.
And that they would use that partial payment function on the kiosk, is that?
Exactly. They would pay the amount they want to pay in cash or credit card. It doesn't matter what order they do it in. They would just do 2 separate transactions to do that and get 2 separate receipts.
And I guess this is another related question. These are interesting because they're related, but from different people. And there's no problem with accepting partial payments?
Well, no, I mean, they abide by the time, their due date, they have to abide by that. But, if they haven't gotten to their due date yet and they want to come by one night and pay $50 because they know their total bill is $150, and maybe the next night they come by and they pay another $75, we don't care how customers get their payments made. We'd like for them to do it, by their due date. And if not, then they can work with us and set a payment arrangement. They're still obligated to pay,
Sure.
by due date, just like anyone else would be.
Okay, we have a couple of questions that are related. Do the kiosk payments post in real time? And are the real-time balances reflected in your CIS or your source system as a customer makes them?
Yes, they are. It takes just a few minutes for the payment to reflect on their account. Now they do need to pay, but before the end of the business day. They can still come and make a payment in the evening, but those payments are then held in a queue and then they're all pushed through at 6 o'clock in the morning. So there's a short period of time outside of our business hours where the payment posts and gets pushed through the next morning. But during business hours, it's all live.
And all of the kiosk software, it's all totally cloud-based and also posting in your revenue management software as well. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, this one, let's see. How long did it take for you to get 100% of payments going through the kiosks for your walk-in customers?
I would say not very long at all. When we decided to do that, we changed the appearance of our lobby, and our ladies and gentlemen that work in the lobby are in more of a secured area behind glass. And so that's kind of when we decided at that point we would have all customers make payments at the kiosk, and they were fine with it. I mean, we didn't have any trouble getting them to do that at all. I mean, a matter of days, if that.
I think the customers really honestly liked the convenience of it because, as Lisa mentioned, they didn't have to wait in line anymore, and they had multiple kiosks they could use. And so that really made it more convenient for them to process their payments through the kiosk instead of waiting in line to pay a representative at the cashier's window.
Great. Do you happen to know how many mail-in payments that you receive versus in person at the kiosks? Are you still getting a lot sent in?
Less and less every year, as people become more accustomed to technology. But we do still receive a fair amount of mailed-in payments. A lot of our customers use our website as well. They'll use phone pay, and the kiosks are an additional convenience where they can make a payment, but we do still receive mailed payments. I don't know what the numbers are, but I can tell you that I do know it's trending down.
Here's an interesting question. I'm actually not sure of the answer. Do payments at the kiosk for the city utilities installment, would they restore service if the customer is turned off for non-payment?
If they have met the amount of their disconnect amount, whatever amount we're requiring them to pay, then yes, they can pay at the kiosk. They can take care of that at the kiosk because all of our payments, all walk-in payments now are paid at the kiosk. And yes, their service would be restored.
Do you have the ability to mark certain customers as cash only for kiosk use when they've maybe abused check or credit card options?
Yes, we do. We have that option, and it will let them make a cash payment at the kiosk if they're marked as cash only.
And you guys, how do you set that up?
We do that through our CIS application, and that's what we use to start service and service, where we keep their account financial history. We're able to go into their person information and select a cash only block and put that on the account.
Okay, sorry, there's a lot of great questions. Sorry, I'm trying to read through all of them. So we have a question that I know maybe I can answer a little bit also, but is it possible for the kiosk to have payments for other entities, not just city utilities? I know, well, you feel free to answer for yourself and then I can answer maybe for city base.
Not ours. Ours are for utilities only.
But that is something that our kiosk absolutely can accommodate. And we have several installments where multiple utilities, for instance, an electric company and a water company share the same kiosk hardware, or different departments of a city or a county government, as well as a local utility share that same hardware. And all the transactions stay separate. And actually, a teaser for our next live discussion, but I'll get to that later. Okay, let's see, some more for you guys. Does the past due balance include fees or only the utility charge? Yeah.
The past due that the customers are going to see on the kiosk are exactly what they would see on their bill. So whether that past due on their bill includes fees and any late fees or connection fees, they're going to see what's reflected on their bill.
And part of the same person's question, can the kiosk be freestanding or does it require access to inside the building?
Well, the 3 that we have inside our main lobby are freestanding. The 2 that are outside are slightly different because of the way they go through the wall to allow our customers to have access to them 24/7. The ones in the lobby open in the front so that we can pull the cash out, but we do that after hours, so that's okay. The ones that are through the wall, when we close those out, we access them from the back in a room that's away from the public.
And that's, the difference. So City Base has 3 models of kiosks. We have indoor kiosks, outdoor kiosks, and then through the wall kiosks. And so both the indoor and the outdoor are totally freestanding, and then through the wall is through the wall.
Built into the wall, right?
Yes. Okay. All right, now I have some questions in the Q&A and then some in the chat. Let me go to the chat. Okay, we talked about security. We talked about real-time posting. And let's see. Yeah, maybe talk a little bit about how you handled staffing and, if you had to reduce headcount or if you just repurpose some of those staff that are no longer taking cash at the register.
Yeah, the staff that we had originally at the counter, we did reduce the number, but they are now working in other areas of customer service. And so, we have some of those folks, they support the folks that are at the window. So if we have someone on vacation or out sick, we'll utilize those people to substitute for them at the counter, but they're not full-time up there anymore.
And once you installed the kiosk, did you get rid of your payment drop box after the kiosk went live?
No, we still have that. Not everybody is able to, or do they all want to use the payment kiosks? But I can tell you the number of items that are in our night drop box are significantly lower than they used to be.
Would you say that you've found any cost savings because of that due to the reduced manual processing?
Would you be able to speak to that, Cindy?
I don't know specifically for, because we had a payment kiosk, we do offer paperless billing. And so, customers can receive an email letting them know that their bill's ready for them to view. And then at that point, they can use the payment kiosk to make their payment, or they can pay with one of our other methods, whether it's going online with our portal or paying through our mobile app. But we found that, that in itself, we have a lot of customers that have made the option, and it actually is increasing every year to go paperless.
Okay, we have some questions about Citybase, be honest. What is the support like from Citybase and how is the maintenance?
We have great support from Citybase. Anytime we've had an issue, we just call Citybase, and sometimes it takes some time, but we're usually always able to work that out. They even FaceTime with us to help us to resolve issues. They've been great. I don't have any concerns, and I don't think you would either. There have been some times we've had to replace hardware. Our inside kiosks, they're inside, they're protected. They don't get as much use, so we've not had to do much replacing of hardware. Our outdoor kiosks, though, they're used all the time. And so we've had to replace some parts, but they're shipped to us quickly. And because we have two, if something happens to one, we still have the other one available. But it's always been resolved in a timely manner. And so I think we have a great relationship with Citybase. And I would let them know if I wasn't happy with something, but I'm very happy, very pleased.
Well, thanks. Okay, here's another Citybase one. So this person is in the process of purchasing kiosks from Citybase. Thank you. Any advice or hiccups that they should be on the lookout for?
The only hiccup that I think that we face is, when the temperatures outside are extremely cold, because of where our outdoor kiosks are positioned, we're able to open up the doors in the back of it and leave it open so that warm air gets into the kiosks. And that seems to help quite a bit. But, we don't have in Missouri, we have cold days, but we don't have a lot of extremely cold days. So that's not a big issue for us, but we've learned to work around it. We did have an issue with our outdoor kiosks. We had some trees trimmed and the shade went away. And so it got extremely hot. The monitors would get really hot for just like 30 minutes in the morning when the sun was directly on them. And but we worked with Citybase, and they were able to install high heat touch screens, and that took care of it. It's no longer an issue. And so if you run into any problems, just talk to Citybase about it, and hopefully they'll be able to take care of it for you. But I'd say overall, there aren't any issues. I mean, there's normal maintenance. We balance them daily. We do clean them every week. We clean all of them inside and out, and that helps because you want to keep all the dust out of, especially the outdoor kiosks. When the wind blows, we can get some stuff in there, but we just keep them clean and just maintain them, and you shouldn't have any problems.
And that actually answers another question we had about how is the screen maintenance, particularly for the outdoor kiosks, and how you handle that. But Sounds
Yeah.
like.
We just keep them clean now. We don't have any issues anymore.
And then, we also, particularly for freestanding outdoor kiosks, if it is going to be somewhere that's directly in sunlight, we do recommend, some sort of a shelter just to shade that. But, there are a few affordable options for that. I think we had one follow-up question about, okay, how the paying on the kiosk gets your service restored. If someone
Like
is
coming into the lobby and making a payment, the only difference is they do it at the kiosk instead of with a person. It gets applied to their account. And then once they've met the amount of that disconnect or whatever it is they need to pay, then we can restore their service.
Great. Okay, well, this has been awesome. We have had a lot of questions and, I see there are a few that we didn't get to live on air, but thank you guys for using your names and we'll definitely follow up with you guys via email to get all of your questions answered. Don't want to take any more of your time. So, Cindy and Lisa, thank you so much. Do you have any other final thoughts or anything you'd like to add before we end today's session?
I would just strongly echo what Lisa said about anyone that's thinking about payment kiosk. I think it's a great option to offer your customers. It really provides that convenience and flexibility for them. Just gives them a different, another way to pay. And, also the support, as Lisa said, has been great. Anytime we've had any issues, it has been a quick response time. And we've been able to resolve, any issue that we've had in a timely manner so that we can continue to provide that service to our customers.
Great. Well, thank you, Lisa and Cindy, so much for being here. And thank you, everybody, for jumping on the call today. And I also want to let you guys know that this talk is part of a series of talks that we've been doing with industry experts and city-based clients. And if you want to access our last talk, you can do so on demand at go.thecitybase.com on demand. And we'll also be sending all of you a recording of this session if you want to rewatch it or take notes or ask more questions. And we're excited to say that we have another upcoming talk coming up in May, and stay tuned for details on that. We'll be announcing in the next couple of weeks. So we hope you'll join us then and come with just as many questions that time as well. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you.